Most people believe that a bloated or swollen belly is just an aesthetic issue, something you can fix with a few crunches or by eating a little less. But the truth is that what really bothers you, and what represents a silent risk to your health, is not the fat you can pinch. It's the fat you can't see, visceral fat. It hides deep inside the abdominal cavity, wrapping around vital organs like the liver, pancreas, and intestines, and it behaves almost like a secret organ of its own, releasing inflammatory substances that disrupt your metabolism, increase blood glucose, worsen insulin resistance, and drastically raise the risk of cardiovascular disease. The most surprising part is that you don't need to be overweight to have a dangerous amount of this fat. Thousands of lean people carry high levels of it without knowing. But there's a piece of good news that many people don't realize. Visceral fat is actually the type of fat your body mobilizes the fastest when you start making the right changes. It responds quickly, much faster than subcutaneous fat, the fat just beneath the skin. Studies show that when the body enters a calorie deficit and certain habits are adjusted, visceral fat can decrease significantly in just a few weeks. This is why a well-structured 30-day plan is more than enough to produce real changes, as long as you understand how this fat works and how to approach it strategically. To understand how to reduce it, it's essential to understand what makes it accumulate. Unlike subcutaneous fat, visceral fat is highly sensitive to metabolic imbalances, especially the excessive intake of certain types of fats and sugars. A well-known study published in 2014 demonstrated this in an impressive way. Two groups of people received the same amount of extra daily calories, but the type of fat they consumed was different. One group ate foods prepared with polyunsaturated fats, while the other consumed foods rich in saturated fats. Both groups gained weight. After all, they were eating more than they needed. But only the group that consumed saturated fats experienced a significant increase in visceral fat, while the polyunsaturated fat group not only gained less fat overall, but even gained a little more lean mass. This shows that it's not just the number of calories that matters, but also the type of food, especially when we're talking about this specific fat that accumulates around the organs. Another major villain is sugar, more specifically added sugar, the kind found in sodas, industrial juices, desserts, breakfast cereals, and even sauces and condiments. In 2009, another important study compared the effects of consuming the same amount of calories from glucose versus calories from fructose. Even though both groups consumed the same energy, only the fructose group experienced a significant increase in visceral fat and a worsening of insulin sensitivity. It's important to clarify that this does not mean that eating fruit is harmful. Fruits come with fiber and water, which prevent overconsumption. The problem lies in industrial sugar and high fructose syrups, which are rapidly absorbed by the liver and directly stimulate the accumulation of deep abdominal fat. But reducing the foods that promote accumulation is not the only step. You also need to include foods that help reduce this fat. And no nutrient is more useful than protein. In a 2005 study, researchers simply asked a group of participants to increase their protein intake. No requirement to eat less, no calorie counting, nothing, just eat more protein. The result was surprising. People spontaneously began eating fewer calories throughout the day, and they lost almost all their weight in the form of fat. Although the study didn't measure visceral fat directly, it's well known that protein reduces appetite, improves metabolism, and creates the ideal environment for the body to use visceral fat as energy. The combination of these factors, reducing saturated fat, lowering added sugar, and increasing protein, creates a highly favorable metabolic environment for losing visceral fat quickly. But to further enhance the results within 30 days, there is another fundamental element: a calorie deficit. Research shows that when the body consistently receives fewer calories than it burns, visceral fat is one of the first energy reserves to be mobilized. People who lose around 5 kilograms over a few weeks often experience reductions of up to 30% in visceral fat, which is practically the closest science has ever come to real spot reduction. However, relying only on nutrition is not enough to achieve maximum reduction in a short time. Physical exercise is essential, and when the goal is visceral fat, not every exercise produces the best effect. A scientific review published recently analyzed various training modalities and concluded that moderate to high intensity activities, especially those that raise the heart rate above 75% of maximum capacity, create a much more favorable hormonal response for mobilizing this fat. Interval training, such as short sessions of fast running, cycling, rowing, or even brisk incline walking, produces temporary spikes in catecholamines, hormones that directly stimulate visceral fat burning. The interesting thing is that these sessions sessions don't need to be long. Workouts of 15 to 25 minutes, performed 2 or 3 times per week, already produce measurable results. On the days when you're not doing interval training, simply maintaining a high level of daily movement, such as walking at least 8,000 steps, helps reduce inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity, and speeds up the use of visceral fat as energy. Walking is a highly underestimated tool, but it becomes extremely effective when used consistently as part of a 30-day routine. If you combine strategic eating, a moderate calorie deficit, interval training 2 or 3 times per week, and consistent daily movement, it becomes nearly impossible not to see real changes. In 30 days, most people report a tighter waist, reduced abdominal bloating, improved energy throughout the day, and more balanced metabolic markers. It's not a trick or a secret formula. It's pure biology responding to consistent stimuli. And unlike what many people think, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent every small choice. Swapping a fatty cut of meat for a leaner one, replacing sugary drinks with water or plain coffee, adding a source of protein to your breakfast, walking more, training with a little more intensity, adds up. And it's exactly this accumulation of small choices, repeated day after day, that transforms your body from the inside out. If this video helped you better understand how visceral fat works and how to reduce it safely and scientifically, then I invite you to continue this journey with me. Hit the like button, because it helps this video reach more people who also need this important information. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming videos, where I'll go even deeper into practical strategies to improve your health, accelerate your results, and transform your body in a real and sustainable way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.